Good morning and welcome to News at 7. I am David Opopasile. Governor Obiano urges APGA members to forge unity of purpose to ensure victory in coming elections. Police cautions National Association of Nigeria Students against threat to block bridgehead ONITSHA. 4 pregnant women, 148 other Nigerians return from Libya. On the foreign scene, 6 men arrested for killing women and 4 children for suspected witchcraft in India. Good morning again and welcome. State government has directed cattle herders in Anambra East and West to gradually relocate to avoid further conflicts in the areas. Governor Obiano disclosed this as Community Secondary School, Umuezanam, Anambra West Council area and ONITSHA Township Stadium, Anambra East Council area during his thank you rally in the areas. Government House correspondent Ejika Abana reports that it was a gathering of APGA faithful candidates and stakeholders. We have details.
Governor Obiano said that the committee set up by state governments to address cattle rearers and farmers' clashes will sort out unresolved issues by paying for damaged crops and urge them to avoid confrontation. Governor Obiano also announced a lift of suspension on the 3 members of the State House of Assembly suspended from the party during the recent misunderstanding in the Assembly, including Messrs. Harford Oseke, Ikem Uzeze, and Victor Koye, noting that lifting the ban is important because the period is critical for unity to ensure a resounding victory at the forthcoming polls, adding that a vote for APGA is a vote for democracy dividends.
And I West Navana in phases. Phases meaning batch by batch. But you gradually phase them out. When are you know? Who they buzina their cows? After the second is a full-fledged member of APGA. Carabia, is a full-fledged member of
The national chairman of APGA, Chief Victor Koye, called on Ndibo to identify and align with the party as it has prospects for promoting better life.
Our governor on America. Our presidential candidate of one of the 2 parties in America. Even the governor will win the first and win the second term. Oh yeah. Only one has on. Yet he's still working as a governor to 10th term. August on our own with passion.
The Commissioner for Works, Engineer Marcel Ifejofor, in his remarks, said that billions of naira have been expended on road projects in the area, notwithstanding its difficult terrain, while the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters, Mr. Greg Obi, who highlighted projects executed through the Governor's Community Choose of Projects initiative, said that it is a way of ensuring delivery of dividends to the grassroots.
With a bridge. A signature tune of His Excellency, Ifod Anambra Cheputa, seen as the best way we're touching the life of Indian man in all the remote areas in Anambra State. Bo na MSA each community.
Also speaking, the Transition Committee Chairman for Anambra East and West, Messrs. Pius Ifade and Sylvester Okafor, while appreciating the governor for his interventions, especially during the recent flooding in the area, added that herders' menace is increasingly becoming difficult, promising to deliver the party during the elections. Some stakeholders and frontline candidates in the areas, including Chief Chinedu Emeka, Chief Chinedu Obidigwe, Mr. Obi Nemenaka, among others, assured that the party is on ground and on course for victory. The governor was accompanied by his wife, Chief Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, party faithful, candidates and stakeholders from the area, while the party flags were handed over to the candidates vying for different elective positions in the area.
The state government says it will reposition the Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS Film Academy to make it one of the best of its kind in Africa. Governor Willie Obiano stated this during the graduation ceremony of the 107 students of the second batch of the academy held at the ABS headquarters in Oka. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo tells us more.
Governor Willie Obiano, who was represented by the State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. Sidon Adenoba, described the academy as one of the initiatives to positively engage the youths and make them fit in the world of creative economy. The governor disclosed his plans of making the academy more productive through engagement of some volunteer lecturers that would handle the students on entrepreneurial studies to make them self-reliant on graduation.
Excellency the Governor of Anambra State had directed that a particular model or course be included in your curriculum, and that's entrepreneurship. I'm glad to inform you that a couple of people of Anambra State origin have volunteered to lead you in this model free of charge.
In his welcome address, the rector of the academy, Mr. Uchenwora, who is also the managing director and chief executive officer of the Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS, advised the graduates to be good ambassadors of the institution and promised them of the academy management's assistance. Mr. Nwora appreciated the people that sponsored students in the previous badges of the academy, calling for more sponsorship from well-meaning individuals and organizations as the institution has major objectives geared towards eradicating youth unemployment.
We're very proud of you, and that as you go forth into the world, always remember, what your lecturers taught you, and remember that you guys are going to be our ambassadors. So please, wherever you are, by the time you start appearing in all those big movies, you start making all those big waves, always remember us here at the academy.
In their separate speeches, member Board of Directors ABS, Mr. Marcel Manafa, who is also the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Radio and Television, and Mr. Tony Oli, the Chairman, State Sports Development Commission, encouraged the students to boldly face challenges in their field of endeavors as the future holds brighter prospects for them.
It's only when you ask them, we know you have issues. So please, as we live here today, we are not going to leave you. We'll be chasing you to make sure you are successful in whatever endeavor or whatever course you chose and led here.
You may find yourself, look very well in between the lines. There's something hidden there. That's the most important thing. That place they think you will not excel, go there and look very well. Something is hidden.
On his part, the director of the academy, Mr. Pascal Osubo, restated the commitment of the academy towards making youths employers of labor on graduation, urging more youths to enroll in the practical-oriented institution. Some of the students, including Ms. Nancy Obue, Mr. Tony Egwongu, and Ms. Blessing Ngo, testified how the 3-month program exposed them to the creative world and recommended same for other youths.
Acting is not all about being a celebrity like we're all thinking. There's more to it. There's the message. There are scripts that make sense. There are scripts that don't make sense. There are stories to be told in acting. So I think it was my 3 months. I'm glad I came. Thank you.
Presentation of certificates to the graduates by the governor's representative featured at the event. From the ABS headquarters in Oka, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
I'll move over now to the legislative chambers. The State House of Assembly has passed a resolution urging Governor Willie Obiano to direct the Commissioner for Road, Rail and Water Transportation and other relevant enforcement agencies to ensure that commercial vehicles plying the roads in the state are equipped with first aid kits. The resolution was quelled to a motion sponsored to that effect by the member representing ONITSHA North 2 constituency, Mr. Edward Ibuzo, during yesterday's plenary. House of Assembly correspondent Chukwuemeka Mwandelem was there and reports.
Moving the motion, Mr. Ibuzo explained that the safety of road users is of overriding importance to the government and that in the event of road accident, it is imperative to provide first aid to the victims before taking them to the hospital. He maintained that effective implementation of the provision of the National Road Traffic Regulation Act 2012 would go a long way in reducing loss of lives during accidents on the state roads.
Convinced that the faithful implementation of the provision of the National Road Traffic Regulation Act 2012 as it relates to vehicles having first aid kits will go a long way in checking fatality during accidents on our roads.
In their contributions, the member representing Dunukofia constituency, Chief Lawrence Ezodo, and his Njikoka 1 constituency counterpart, Dr. Timothy Ifedioramma, and the member for Obaro 1 constituency, Sabense Nwaulu, called on the relevant agencies to sensitize the people on the need to have first aid kits in their vehicles, while the speaker, Mrs. Rita Madago, read out the resolution.
Be it therefore resolved by this Honorable House that the Anambra State House of Assembly urges the Governor, Chief Dr. William Madago to direct the Commissioner for Road, Rail and Water Transportation and other related enforcement agencies to ensure that all commercial vehicles plying the roads in the state are equipped with first aid kits. Those in support of this motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Meanwhile, the House had in a motion sponsored by the member representing Ekusigo constituency, Mr. Onyebuchi Ofo, directed Mr. Ikenna Ofodeme, who resigned recently as Transition Committee Chairman, Ekusigo Local Government Area, to immediately hand over to the head of the local government administration, who shall act as the chairman pending the appointment and confirmation of a new chairman by the House. The House also restrained and ordered Mr. Uchenna Elodemore to stop parading himself as the new Transition Committee Chairman of Ekusigo Local Government Area forthwith, just as the Speaker of the House, Mrs. Rita Madago, condemned the act in its entirety and read out the resolution. From the State House of Assembly, Chukwuemeka Modelem, ABS News.
Chief Dozie Nwankwo's campaign train yesterday toured communities in Dunukofia local government area and was received at each of the communities by massive supporters and stakeholders. The communities visited include Omunachi, Umudioka, and Iftedunu. Colonel Chukwuchukwode has details.
Each of the communities, the testimonies of Chief Nwankwo's quality representation were on the lips of those who were present. The Chief Whip of the State House of Assembly and the member representing Dunukofia constituency, Mr. Lawrence Ezodo, remarked that Chief Nwankwo has done so much for the people of the area, especially for the people of Dunukofia, even before he became a politician. Mr. Ezodo said his life-touching projects are visible and have endeared him to the people, assuring him that the votes of the people are for him.
Anyị ji Umudioka eme ọnụ na Dunukofia ga-erelai na Umudioka ga-apụtasị na February 16 wee bịa aka ebe esela.
The President General, Umunachi Improvement Union, Mr. Nwakeze Azodo, and his Umudioka counterpart, Mr. Collins Ikebudu, pointed out that through his grassroots approach to leadership, Dozie Nwankwo has remembered the neglected, carried all along, and ensured even distribution of democracy dividends. In his speech, Chief Nwankwo, who is presently representing Anocha Njikoka Dunukofia constituency in the House of Representatives, thanked the people for solidly supporting him throughout the period of his litigation up till now, promising to improve on his developmental programs if re-elected. The campaign train featured goodwill messages from major stakeholders, support groups, and testimonies from those who have benefited from Dozie Nwankwo's medical outreach and empowerment programs. It's been Kenechukwu Chukwudi for ABS News.
And now to security. Anambra Police Command has warned members of the National Association of Nigerian Students to stay clear of the bridgehead on ONITSHA during their planned protest against the ongoing strike by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. According to the statement endorsed by the State Public Relations Officer of the Command, SP Haruna Mohammed, Command has information that members of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, Zone B, have concluded plans to stage a protest tagged Operation No Movement, aimed at registering their displeasure over the perceived delay in resolving the ongoing strike by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities and the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics. The statement said that during the protest, members of NANS plan to occupy the head bridge on ONITSHA, which is the gateway to the southeast and other parts of South-South geopolitical zones, thereby paralyzing vehicular movements and economic activities in the state. It warned organizers of the protest to stay clear of the bridgehead on ONITSHA to help forestall serious traffic congestion and avoidable hardships to the public, and made clear that the command will not hesitate to take all necessary steps to prevent any individual or groups of individuals from disrupting the relative peace enjoyed in the state, which the command and other law enforcement agencies work assiduously to maintain. We'll continue now. A fresh batch of 162 Nigerians, including 4 pregnant women, have voluntarily returned from Libya with the assistance of the International Organization for Migration, IOM. The coordinator, Lagos Zonal Office of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Al-Haj Idris Mohammed, confirmed the development to newsmen in Lagos. Mohammed said the Nigerians arrived at the cargo wing of the Murita Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, on board a chartered Libyan Airlines aircraft, which he said the returnees comprise of 100 females, including 4 pregnant women and 62 males. The coordinator, while welcoming the returnees, urged them to be agents of positive change by joining the campaign against irregular migration. He disclosed that NEMA recently hosted a team from European Union on a monitoring and evaluation of the special EU intervention on assisted voluntary return of migrants. According to him, NEMA interfaced with them on the ways of improving the present EU-assisted voluntary returnees program being run by IOM. He said gaps were identified, especially on logistics. Mohammed said that efforts were being put in place to close such gaps to make the process much smoother from the stakeholders and the returnees. And on business this morning, the Central Bank of Nigeria has issued a regulation on the end-to-end electronic payment of salaries, pensions, and other remittances, suppliers, and revenue collections in Nigeria. The Apex Bank disclosed this in a circular to all deposit money banks, other financial institutions, and the public on exposure draft for the regulation on end-to-end electronic payment of salaries, pensions, and other remittances, suppliers, and revenue collections in Nigeria, revised 2018. In the regulation, the CBN introduced a penalty of 2.5 million naira on DMBs and other financial institutions on every repeated occurrence of specific infractions and termination of the use of the unapproved end-to-end e-payment solution. It also introduced other fines for other forms of infractions. The regulator stated that the objective of the end-to-end electronic payment of salaries, pensions, supplies, and taxes initiative was fully aligned with the core objectives of the National Payment Systems Vision 2020, which was to ensure the availability of safe, effective, and efficient mechanisms for conveniently making and receiving all types of payments from any location and at any time through multiple electronic channels. And now to foreign scene. Police in eastern India have arrested 6 men accused of battering a woman and her 4 young children to death and dumping the bodies down a village, well, because they suspected she was a witch casting spell. She was a witch casting spell. 5 men, all from the 7th family, along with a witch doctor, broke into Mandri Munda's home in the state of ONITSHA and used a crowbar to kill her and her children, aged 4, 7, 12, and 10 months, said Sunchat Das, inspector at the Koida police station. The alleged woman had been practicing black magic and had cast a spell on their own family, which caused a 12-year-old girl to fall ill and die in December. Witch doctors are seen by believers as having powers to protect others against witchcraft. The family had confronted the victim earlier and decided to take action after another family member fell ill. The victim's husband called the police after arriving home the next day to find his family missing and signs of violence inside the home. Police are holding the 6 men on suspicion of murder, criminal conspiracy, and witch hunting. Formal charges have yet to be made. Now we'll move over to sports. With plans to extend the deadline by 2 days, 13 countries have completed their registration for the maiden World Taekwondo sanctioned Nigeria Open Tournament scheduled for Abuja from February 8 to 10. According to the details of registration, over 122 participants from 13 countries have so far confirmed their participation in the tournament holding the Velodrome Package A of the National Stadium, Abuja. Countries expected for the event are Saudi Arabia, United States of America, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Niger Republic, Congo DR, Oman, Senegal, Togo, Guadeloupe, and host Nigeria. One of Nigeria's foremost taekwondo coaches, Ahmad Adekola Kazim, said he was excited to see the event staged in Nigeria, adding that it would place the country on the world map. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. You can like us at Facebook at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Now, before we go, the main points again. Governor Obiano has urged ABGA members to forge unity of purpose to ensure victory in the coming elections. Police has cautioned the National Association of Nigerian Students against threats to block bridgehead ONITSHA. 4 pregnant women, 158 other Nigerians have returned from Libya. On the foreign scene, 6 men have been arrested for killing women and 4 children for suspected witchcraft in India. And that is the news. I am David Opokwasile. Good morning, Anambra continues right after now.